like in general. I'd rather play the Grand Theft Auto games. And this guy made a video about the bizarre food economy of GTA, and I thought it was a really well made video. And clearly, the internet agrees because it has 408,000 views. So this guy made a sequel a few days ago for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm very curious because this guy makes really good content. So we're gonna watch.
Mom, what's that?
Nothing. Just get in the car. Let's go. Come on.
These are...
So, go ahead and do this first. We are going to give this guy a like. Hell yeah, Bandicoot. And we're going to copy, and we are going to post in the chat. And give this guy a like and a sub, please. And make sure you watch the original video first, and then come back here and you can watch my reaction. It'll be on YouTube, or it'll be in the clips on Twitch, probably. I don't know. But hey, YouTube. Anyways, let's continue. Just to see, because I'm very curious.
These are Headley's Assorted Biscuits, factory crackers in a fancy tin, produced by a Saint Denis baking company. The general...
This guy is already going hard, bro. Like, this guy pays attention to all the details, bro. And Rockstar games are filled with so many details. Like, dude, what? Man, let's go.
Store catalog describes them as exceptionally fine, perfect for serving in the...
I forgot that stuff was readable in Red Dead 2, dude. Like, that's insane to me, man.
Salon, at garden parties, or militia gatherings. That description reveals the product's range. The same biscuit is marketed for domestic social events and for military rations. In practice, they appear in outlaw camps and on the tables of Saint Denis alike. Here in Saint Denis, the stores even put Headley's biscuit tins on display with fine wine bottles and glasses, trying to lure in the rich folk. The era of anonymous sacks of flour has given way to branded goods with eye-catching labels. In fact, in 1898, the National Biscuit Company, later Nabisco, launched Unita Biscuits, the first mass-market
and this is real because it's Nabisco.
Crackers sold in moisture-proof packaging. This was the beginning of food branding as we know it. So
yeah, so they made a rip-off of it in Red Dead 2.
Headley's fits right in with the real-world moment when packaging itself became a status symbol. Then there's Auntie Esther's classic oat cakes. These are pre-packaged horse feed, compressed oats,
yeah,
and molasses baked into hard cakes. They are $4 a box, which, adjusted for inflation, is $130 today.
Jesus. Is that how bad the economy he's gotten? Fuck. Fuck. Dude. Oh, man. That's insane.
Today. I guess you can't put a price on a good horse. You can also buy a cheese wedge. That's all I have to say.
I don't think you can actually go in stores nowadays and just buy, like, straight up, like, just, like, fucking cheese, bro. Like, I don't even think that's a thing. I'm gonna be honest. Hold on, chat. Alright. Oh no! It started over. Anyways. Okay.
And packaging itself became a status symbol. Then there's Auntie Esther's classic oat cakes. These are pre-packaged horse feed, compressed oats and molasses baked into hard cakes. They are $4 a box, which, adjusted for inflation, is $130 today. I guess you can't put a price on a good horse. You can also buy a cheese wedge.
Hell yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. And then there's coffee, specifically Quaker and Fitz's ground coffee. It's an imported blend from Brazilian beans, roasted and shipped in sacks by the barrel load to every general store. In camps, it is brewed in a tin pot. Historically, by 1899, most of this coffee would have come from Brazil. Slavery had only just been abolished there in 1888, so Arthur's Morning Brew is tied to...
Shout out to slavery being abolished, by the way. What a very dark time in our history. Thank God it's fucking abolished. And it's been abolished for many years.
To an economy built on forced and indentured labor. The outlaw gang runs on the most globalized commodity of the era. But the real star of the frontier pantry is the can. Canned food was the miracle technology.
Dude, canned food is still a miracle to this day. What are you talking about, bro? Like, dude, like, I see so many people complain about not having, like, enough money for food and shit, bro. But you could live off canned food, bro. And dude, canned food to this day is still cheap, bro. You can still buy cans of food for less than $1. So, like, I don't want to hear this bullshit about you can't buy food or you can't put food on the table. That's fucking lies. That's fucking lies. It is. You know how much money food stamps gives you every month nowadays, chat? Like, you could dead ass, like, dude, like, it's crazy to me how much money people waste with the money they get for food stamps. If you were smart, If you were smart with your money in the first goddamn place, well, you wouldn't be getting food stamps. But second of all, food ain't that expensive. You just don't know how to look.
The 19th century.
That might be controversial. It might hurt a couple people's feelings, but I don't care. It's the truth.
I give you Edna McSweeney's corned beef, salted brisket in a can. The label promises it's always ready and never goes bad. Inside is salted preserved beef that might have come from a slaughterhouse in.
Now, I won't lie, canned meat is pretty disgusting. Most canned meat is not the best. I'll give you that. Some canned meat just ain't really right, man. Sometimes I think meat is about the only thing I'll buy fresh, but I'll buy canned fruit. I'll buy canned vegetables. I think canned meat is the only one I just like. I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Chicago months ago, and yet here it is, fresh enough to eat by a campfire in New Austin. Then there's Schmitz's canned salmon, and no, this isn't from the local river in
I hate seafood. I fucking hate seafood. Ugh. Not for me.
Moines. This is wild salmon from the Columbia River, caught in Oregon, packed by Chinese cannery workers, and then shipped across the continent in ice-packed rail cars. By the time Arthur Morgan eats it in a swamp outside of Rhodes, that fish has traveled more miles than his whole gang has. There's also black-winged sweet corn and dewberry peas.
Is that an official map? Hold on.
That fish is...
No, but it's a made-up map, and it's a really good made-up map. Wow. That's a really well-made, fan-made map, actually.
Traveled more miles than his whole gang has. There's also black-winged sweet corn and dewberry peas. They sound like artisanal farm brands, but they're just corn and peas floating in sugar water. Canning made summer permanent. By the 1890s, the US was producing billions of cans a year. And then there's sloppy Molly's assorted offal.
What the hell? Is that what that looks like? Because, like, for a while now, I've always wondered what salted offal, like, actually looked like. Jesus. Okay.
Logitech Keep Play is our big
I don't care. I'm trying to learn
gaming
about
event
food.
to celebrate all things play, centered around a
Which is exactly what it sounds like. A jar of salted intestines, livers, and other innards. The labeling tries its best to dress it up. Only the finest organ meat.
Oh, it literally says it right there. Ugh. Entrails?
Meats and entrails. The only people buying this were broke cowboys or truly desperate outlaws. Pearson hands Arthur a jar of offal when they're snowed in and starving, and Arthur basically says he'd rather starve than eat another bite. Sloppy Molly's is the frontier's answer to Spam, except worse. And then
Yeah, that's worse than Spam, dude. And I don't even like Spam. Ugh.
we have chocolate, candy, and sugar.
Yeah,
If you have a sweet tooth, you can buy a Snowburger's Fancy chocolate bar. At this time, Hershey's would only just be starting production in 1900, so a milk chocolate bar is the actual taste of the near future for people here. At this time, most chocolate still came from
Like, chat, dude, these videos are so well made, bro. Like, dude, what? Like, these videos are so well made, man. Like, dude, this guy deserves so much love, bro. The fact that he only has 40,000 subscribers is disrespectful, bro. This guy puts a lot of work into his videos, man. Shout out to you, Bandicoot, if you see this video.
from Europe, made with cocoa from colonial plantations in West Africa where labor conditions were brutal. So when Arthur bites into a Snowburger's bar, he's tasting both modern luxury and the darker side of global trade. Meanwhile, old-fashioned candies fill the store shelves too. Peppermint sticks, lemon drops, licorice whips. The marketing on these candies is aggressively cheerful and wholesome, a delight for young and old any time of day. Used as a reward to discourage sloth, implying parents should bribe their kids with candy to get chores done. The Industrial Revolution brought mass-produced sugar into everyday life. Even a child in a town like
sugar used to be one of the most rare I forgot what's the word, economies. Anyways, it used to be super rare back in the day, chat. So like back in the day, like if you had access to sugar, dude, you were like rich. You were like the bomb. Like you were the shit if you had access to sugar. Most normal people didn't have access to sugar. Sugar was like, it was rare. People used to fight over sugar, like wars over sugar, man. Over sugar, dog. Like what?
Blackwater or Valentine might regularly taste brightly colored sweets that were made in a distant city factory. These confections are a symbol of emerging modern consumer culture, affordable little luxuries that spread even to the fringes of society. Not necessarily nutritious, certainly not necessary, but deeply desired. And now before we take a look at what the rich folk in Saint Denis are eating, let's take a quick look at today's sponsor, Incogni. They had a lot to worry about in the Old West, but one thing they did not have to worry about was data brokers. Thousands of companies right now are collecting and trading your personal information, your name, your address, and they're selling that information to whoever's buying. Incogni automatically helps wipe your data off the internet by reaching out to brokers on your behalf. This saves you years of work if you tried to do it by yourself. I set up my account, I gave Incogni permission, and within days I saw removals on the dashboard. A week later, dozens more were done. It's actually pretty crazy how much of your info is out there. I was also expecting to have to give it a bunch of details for it to even begin working, but just by signing up it had enough to go on, which shows you how easy it is for a lot of these sites to get your info. I've had scam emails that have included my old addresses, and since using Incogni, those creepy and oddly specific emails have slowed down. I've also had alerts that my details were in breach for a company I'd never even heard of before. Incogni removed me from multiple brokers tied to that leak, and I didn't have to do anything but sign up. With Incogni's new custom removals feature on the unlimited and family unlimited plans, you can even paste links to random web pages where your info shows up, and their privacy experts handle the rest. In Red Dead Redemption, if enemies know your camp's location, you're vulnerable. Online, your exposed address or phone number does the same thing. It makes you a target for scammers, stalkers, even identity theft. Incogni keeps that information off the market. So go to Incogni.
Job posting websites are also very quick ways to have spam callers call you. I just recently, not even like maybe a year and a half ago, finally got my number freed of spam callers who had my phone number. I used to get so many spam calls, but I eventually saved my phone number, so now I don't get spam calls anymore, man. But my phone for a couple of months went through a process of that because it was during the time in which I was looking for a job. Yeah, some job posting websites will screw you over, man. They will screw you over. They will sell your phone number to some random companies, and they will call you and call you and call you at the most unopportune times. It is so fucking aggravating, man. So fucking aggravating.
Incogni.com/Bandercoot and use code Bandercoot for 60% off. That is Incogni.com/Bandercoot, code Bandercoot for an exclusive 60% off. Click that link in the description and start taking your privacy back today. Okay, and back to the food. Not everyone in 1899 was living on canned beans and salted offal. Walk into Saint Denis and you're in a different world entirely.
Oh yeah.
It is Gilded Age
Modern
abundance.
society.
In Saint Denis, wealth and poverty live side by side, but the wealthy have access to a food culture as lavish as any in Eastern US or Europe. The city's Bastille Saloon offers dishes like lobster bisque and prime rib, served with...
What is lobster bisque? What is that? I don't eat seafood, so...
potatoes, dauphinoise, and spring salad. For $3 to $5 a plate, it's a full evening's wages for a working man. But to Saint Denis elites, it's just supper. Saint Denis also boasts establishments like Café Balzac, a coffee house that wouldn't be out of place in Paris.
This is why I love Rockstar. Café Balzac. You're funny. You're very funny. You're funny, Rockstar.
Here, coffee is a steaming demitasse served in porcelain, a far cry from the tin seen in the campsites. The existence of Café Balzac in the game City shows that by 1899, even a frontier-edge metropolis had a global sensibility. People aspired to European sophistication, and some had the means to indulge it. Likewise, the Le Havre Bakery in Saint Denis offers daily fresh breads, baguettes, and pastries, thanks to immigrant bakers who brought their recipes and techniques from Europe. There's also hotels and restaurants in towns like Blackwater and Valentine that serve hearty, genuine meals. A different kind of comfort food that speaks to home cooking and regional traditions. In Valentine's, Smithfield's Saloon lists beef stew for $3. Dark, rich, and filling. Spend a little more and you can order lamb's fry with peas and potatoes, a frontier delicacy that feels half rustic and half refined. Across town at Keen's,
They don't serve lamb anymore. Most people don't kill lambs for meat anymore. That's actually kind of interesting to think about. We don't kill a lot of animals to eat anymore like we used to. We used to kill even more animals and a variety of them. Now we don't do that as often. I've never ate lamb or sheep in my fucking life, now that I think about it, dude. That's crazy, chat. Wonder what it tastes like.
the menu pares down to the basics. Oatmeal for $3. A breakfast meant to keep you upright through long hours on the range. Travel south to Rhodes and the
Pickled eggs are so fucking disgusting, dude. Oh, they're so disgusting. Ugh, I hate pickled eggs. And I love eggs. But,
The Parlor House serves cracked wheat with milk for breakfast. Simple but nourishing. Or fried catfish with greens and beans for supper. This is southern food translated through a saloon kitchen. On the Van Horn coast, the Old Light Saloon offers fish stew for $3. Or lamb's heart with boiled cabbage for $5. It's a meal that tells you nothing goes to waste. In Blackwater, the saloon embraces middle-class comfort. Roast prairie chicken with green beans and mashed potatoes. For dessert,
the best one by far, bro. Roast prairie chicken. with green beans and mashed potatoes. Golly, that sounds just good. That sounds so good.
A peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler.
Ride west to Tumbleweed and the desert diet takes over. A big bowl of chili for $3. Or slices of roast beef with corn and glaze.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with some roast beef with some gravy on top. Hell yeah, buddy.
Carrots for $5. These menus sketch a whole geography in food, regional flavors and cultural influences, all served from behind swinging saloon doors. In Saint Denis, Chinatown alleyways are marked with Chinese signs, lanterns, and crates of imported tea. It's a quiet acknowledgement of immigrant communities shaping the city. Step into almost any saloon and you'll spot bottles from Baltz and Schiffer Brewing, clearly German-American breweries, echoing the wave of lager beer culture that
Like, I never would have paid attention to any of this stuff. But this guy goes in there and he finds it, bro. Like, dude, this is so cool. This is so cool, chat. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Baltz and Schiffer Brewing, clearly German-American breweries, echoing the wave of lager beer culture that swept the US in the 1800s. And when the gang rescues Jack from Angelo Bronte, Jack later gushes about the spaghetti. Of course, not all food comes from a catalog or saloon. Much of Arthur's diet is still caught, skinned, and cooked by hand.
Yep.
Hunting is still central
Deer,
to survival.
rabbit.
A venison steak seared over a campfire, or even a pot of stew bulked out with freshly...
I have had deer before. I have had deer before. It's not as bad as people say it is.
Trapped game. These meals represent the older rhythm of life on the frontier. Every animal has its own ecosystems, its own uses, and its own recipes. Arthur is pushed to sell pelts and meat to butchers, plugging the wild into the growing economy. Even food you pull from the land is quickly commodified. It's one of the clearest examples of the old ways colliding with the new order. And we shouldn't forget the most humble of eating experiences. In the gang's camp, every...
Oh, dude. That's right. Dude, get off my... I don't care about Borderlands. No! Get off.
Every evening, Pearson cobbles together a stew from whatever's left on hand. Maybe a rabbit or deer that Charles or Arthur hunted.
Dude, look at the detail, the way he chops that meat, bro. And that was not a cutscene. That was not a cutscene. Like, the amount of polish that's in Rockstar games is actually crazy. Like, I'm gonna hop off Rockstar's dick, you know, because I'm a mad dick rider for Rockstar games. But like, dude, these games are made so, they're made so well, bro. Oh my god.
Mixed with some potatoes or carrots bought in town. It's not fancy, it's not even consistent from day to day, but it's warm and communal. The gang members line up with tin bowls and share the meal together. This ritual of sharing food gives a sense of stability and brotherhood, even as their lives are chaotic and dangerous. Food has the power to create community in a way few other things can, and the camp stew shows that human side of survival. Food reinforces the themes of change, loss, and survival. This is a tale of a world in transition, the Old West yielding to modern America, and what better symbol of that change than the food on Arthur Morgan's plate. When Arthur sits by his campfire, brewing coffee in a tin pot, that coffee tells a story of far-off plantations and global supply chain, but it also represents a familiar comfort that thousands of cowboys before him, and us after him, treasure on cold mornings. When he pulls out a can of sweet corn, it's a testament to technological progress, and simultaneously, a reminder that he isn't living off the land in the old way. He's reliant on the new system that's encroaching on the wild. The gang might rail against the advance of government, the reach of Leviticus Cornwall's railroads, the spread of cities, but ironically, they benefit from those very forces whenever they...
Dude, what happened to Arthur in this game was so fucking sad to me, bro. Dude, that shit was so sad. I ain't never been almost, like, so close brought to tears in my life over a video game until I finished Red Dead 2, bro. Red Dead 2 was so fucking depressing.
They enjoy factory-made candy or store-bought whiskey. And yet, amidst all this change, some things remain timeless. These people are outlaws and misfits, but around the fire, eating and drinking together, they feel like a family. Food is a symbol of community and respite in an otherwise harsh world. It's the thing that momentarily makes everyone equal. A hungry belly and the relief of filling it. The open range will be fenced for ranching and farming, and the great cattle drives will end as railroads and refrigerated cars take over. Wild game will grow scarce in some parts, and domestic agriculture will reign. The freedom of living off the land, hunting a deer when you're hungry, brewing coffee under the stars, is already fading by 1899, and we feel it. Every time Arthur opens that satchel and chooses between a can of salted offal or a piece of freshly caught fish he just cooked, he's at a crossroads. Old world and new world, side by side. Nothing lasts and everything changes, but we carry pieces of the past with us,
spiritual.
often in simple ways, like the meals we remember or the recipes passed down. So the next time you stop at a general store in the game, take a moment to really look at the items on sale.
Yeah,
in the
'cause
world
they
of
are
Red Dead
very-
Redemption 2,
They are very detailed.
food is history, food is culture, and food is the quiet narrator of progress and loss. Bon appetit.
Hell yeah, Bandicoot. That was another great video. Hell yeah, brother. I love this guy. He's the best. So he doesn't upload very often, but when he does, man, dude, it's so good, man. So good. So
These
good.
are Headley's.
This guy gets it, man. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Alrighty. That's about all the videos I got for right now, alright, chat? Besides that phase drama shit.